Good evening, Rabbi Isai. B'shuschem, with the permission of friends old and new. Our country is in crisis, coming upon the heels, the tail end of a pandemic, Emetz Hashem. But at the same time, our country is in turmoil. And I recall the days in 1992 when I was young and in Los Angeles, the LA riots. How apropos, how very apropos and apt tonight that we will discuss this evening's Mishnah in chronological order. And it goes as follows. Rav Chanina, Sgan HaKohanim Omer, Rav Chanina, the next in line to be the Cohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, he said, Hevi mispalal b'shlomo shel Malchus, pray on behalf of the government, shel moli moiro, that without fear, ish Yisraelu chayim b'li'al, that without fear, men would swallow up each other alive. Rav Chanina Sgan HaKohanim Omer, Havi mispal b'shlomo shel Malchus. Rabbi Chanina, the Sgan HaKohen Gadol, he says, pray on behalf of the government. Shel mole moiro, that if not for fear, ish Yisraelu chayim b'lo, the man would swallow man alive. Rav Chanina, the Sgan HaKohen Gadol, he lived in the era of the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash. In this Mishnah, this dictum of Rav Chanina dealt in an age wherein Jews were fractured. The Essenes, the Yissim, the Pharisees, the Prushim, and the Sadducees and the Tzdukim, and in an epic of Jewish rebellion against foreign suzerainty and Rome. It was an age of strife, pitting the Chachamim against the Biryonim in their approach to the Roman procurators. Characterizing the Biryonim, I'll adopt a famous passage. It is vain, sir, to extenuate the matter. The gentleman may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? Was it that the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Those were the words of Patrick Henry, the Revolution of America. On the other hand, the Chachamim, the Prushim, the Pharisees, they desired peace with Rome. The Biryonim, despite indications that Eretz Yisrael would ultimately lose the war, they rejected any olive branch, and instead they battled, skirmished, and squashed all peace overtures. Indeed, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai had to be smuggled out of Yerushalayim, where upon meeting Vespasian, he bargained and thus salvaged Torah for all time. Tein li Yavne v'chachamel, give me Yavne and its wise men. And in the end, the Biryonim, they failed to achieve their goals. And because of their zealousness, sacrificed any potential freedoms and independence. Jerusalem was burned and sacked, the temple destroyed, and the Jews were led into captivity. It is in this canvas, within this backdrop, that we learn the words of Rabbi Chanina. Had they mispalal b'shlomo shel Malchus, always pray on behalf of the government. Throughout Jewish history, Jews have lived in many lands, under too numerous rulers and under differing governments. Some would suggest that prayers for governments are new. Ve'ein and ve'asr, and therefore it's prohibited and not sanctioned. However, the Torah itself sanctions such tefillas. As it says in Yirmiyahu, "V'doshu es shalom ha'ir asher higlesi eschem shma v'hispal ba'ado el Hashem," and you should pray on their behalf to God, "Ki b'shlomo yiyeh lecha shalom," because when there's peace for them, there will be peace for you. In Ezra, Darius instructed Tatanai and other Persian officials in Eretz Yisrael. In the first book of Maccabees, 7:33, if anybody wants to look it up, it is related that when Nicanor, the Syrian general, entered Yerushalayim in 161 BCE, this is what was said in the book of Maccabees, and I quote, "Some of the elders and priests came out of the sanctuary to greet him peaceably and to show him the burnt offering that was being offered for the king. In the Qumran scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls, it states the following: the holy city on Yonasan the king and the entire community of your people Israel, who are in the four corners of the heavens, may there be peace for all of them and on your kingdom. May your name be exalted." The Gemara in Yuma Samachtes, we learn the story of Alexander the Great and Shimon HaTzadik. How Shimon led a delegation to see Alexander, and upon meeting him, he said, "Efshar bayis shemispalalim bo alecha v'al malchusecha shelo sicharei." Rabbi say, what's this Mishnah doing in us? This is an ethical construct and corpus. And yet here comes Rav Chanina Skanak Alahanim, and he's telling us, go daven for the government that we live under. A foreign government. Kal v'chomer, our own Jewish governments. So what's this Mishnah doing here in us? If one is in a state of nature, in an anarchic, chaotic realm that's ruled by chaos, for those of you who recall Get Smart, Chaos, chaos, struggling, fighting, and attempting to throw down the rule of law, who has time to devote oneself to God? One struggles to simply defend oneself in that type of an existence. Comes along Rabbi Chanina's Gana Kohanim and he says, "Have mispalel b'shlomo." Always pray for the rule of law of the government. Now, the previous Mishnah, Akavya ben Mahalal, when he says, look and gaze upon three things that you will never come to sin, that should have been sufficient deterrent from all sin and excesses, even without intervention of a human authority. But humankind is still in a state of moral flux and imperfection, where mankind fears man, the lowliest visible, tangible authority, more than the unseen and invisible, intangible, metaphysical omnipotence of the Ribbon Shalom. I'd like to conclude this evening as follows. Avinu Shabashamayim Tzu Yisrael V'Goalo, our Father who art in heaven, protector and redeemer, Barech es Medinat Yisrael v'es Arzot Habrit, our Father who art in heaven, protector and redeemer of the state of Israel and the United States of America, shield it beneath the wings of thy love, spread over it thy canopy of peace, send thy light and its truth to its leaders, officers, and counselors, and direct them with thy good counsel. Establish peace in the land and joy for its inhabitants. V'chein yehi ratzon v'nomar amen. Good night.